Hi everyone. I wanted to create a video to share with you my experiences in attending the Lee Harris Energy Tune-Up event last night in Sydney, Australia. And it's the first time I've seen Lee in person after following him for 3 to 4 years, watching his energy tune-ups and listening to his meditations and his music. And I was really excited to see him in person. And I found it so interesting that the event was nothing like what I thought it would be, but it was exactly what I needed to receive in that moment. So I even managed to ask a question, and even that, the answer blew me away on so many levels. It really, really wasn't what I was expecting. So the structure of the night was that he gave a talk, then he did the Q&A, and then we were able to do a meet and greet and get him to sign our books and give him a hug and get a picture. And so it just went so quickly. I don't know how long he actually spoke before doing the Q&A, but it went by so fast. It was like I just started getting into it and it was over. But the thing that really struck me is that, being the fact that he is a channeler as well as an empath and all the other amazing stuff he does, there was a part of me that expected that I would have kind of that light-headed woo feeling that you sometimes get from channeled events. And that didn't happen. And in fact, both my friend and I were talking afterwards saying how grounded we felt. It wasn't a floaty night, but it was a night full of insights and awarenesses. It was like when he spoke, he was speaking to each of us individually. There were so many times when each one of us were nodding our heads like, you're in our life, you know exactly what our problems are, and you're giving us solutions. So it was so practical and helpful and useful, the way that he spoke. And so many of us really, really resonated with his words. And then we got to the Q&A section, which, interestingly, in other events I've gone to, I tend to switch off at the question and answer session because I feel like people are asking very personal questions for them, and I often can't relate. And last night was so different in that it was like there was a component of everybody's question that helped everyone in the room. And in fact, even the way that Lee answered the questions was like a general response of your question that pertained to everyone in the room inclusively. And then he'd hone in on you and why you asked that question and gave you insight into yourself that you probably had no clue of. At least that's what happened to me. So it was interesting how it all panned out, that even all the questions seemed to be linked. And it was like a divine orchestra had planned the order of the questions and who asked them, and it all linked together just so beautifully, like he planned it, which he personally may not have done. So my question for Lee was in how he transitioned from doing one-on-one readings and sessions for people to being in front of a group of people, because that's where I find myself now. I'm great healing people one-on-one. I'm happy giving insightful readings one-on-one. I've just transitioned to groups with our Year of Healing meditation group with the channeled messages from the archangels, but it's online. So I still get that little bit of anonymity, that little bit of hiding. I put myself out there in our private Facebook group that's related to that healing group, but I'm not seen. So I was trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong. How do I get in front of a group full of people? How do I get a room where I can lead these channeled healing meditations and help change more lives and help more people and be of more assistance? So I asked him the question, and he, like everyone else, gave this general answer to the group of what he did, and how in his case, someone said, hey, I'd like to do a workshop together, and they kind of made it happen, and they did a radio show, and there were people in the room. And that was beautiful insight right there. I thought, yeah, it comes back to trust. I keep getting reminded, and the clients I work with keep getting reminded to come back to trust. So if I trust that the next step is ready and open for me, the opportunity will arise. And my part in all of that is, when the opportunity arises, I need to grab it. And I think I did that a little tiny small way by taking the opportunity to ask him the question. And I was content with that answer. I kind of went, okay, good, that's what I needed to know. I got to trust. And then he looked at me and he gave me the individual answer that I needed to hear. And I'm getting emotional again because it was very emotional for me. He said, exposure. That's what you're afraid of. And my friend who introduced me to Lee's energy readings in the first point and was sitting beside me had this moment of, I've been telling you that, Rebecca. And sure enough, she has been saying that all along. And it's something that I wasn't sure how to release or how to let go of because I thought I was putting myself out there. I've got my website, I've got my, nicely started little itty bitty YouTube channel, and I've got my Facebook page, and now I'm on Instagram, and I'm going, well, how more exposed can I get? And what I've realized since being there with Lee is that I was thinking I was putting myself out there, but the energy I had within me was of hiding, of fear of being exposed, of being seen. So, in typical Lee fashion, I didn't know he was a funny guy, by the way. Lee's really, really funny. Didn't expect that as much. Lee called me up in front of I'm guessing around 200 people that were there last night and said, you're afraid of being seen? Up you come. And my instant gut reaction was, oh, hell no. I'm going to sit in my comfy little chair and we're going to let the night pass on. And he said, no, come on up. And so I came up and I stood beside him. And it's not until after I realized my body language was looking down at my feet. And honestly, my first instinct was, don't even know the guy. Like, we've never met before. All I wanted to do was just curl into his chest and hide. That's all I wanted to do. And I went, no, can't do that. So I will look at the floor because that would be kind of weird. And I heard Archangel Michael, who is ever beside me on this journey of pushing me outside my comfort zone a little bit each day. And I heard Michael say, put your shoulders back, Rebecca, and look up at the audience. So I did. And I looked across all these happy, smiling, wonderful people in the audience. And I went, okay, this isn't so bad. I can talk in front of a classroom of students. I can lead a personal development seminar in front of 50 people, but this 200 in a room full of people that I don't know and I've never met is really intimidating. And I could feel the shifts happening a little bit. And then Lee kept talking. And the amazing thing is what I remembered from what he said versus what my friend shared with me, what he said afterwards. I was still hiding. So I heard him say, I can see, and he had said at the beginning that when he comes out, he can see our higher selves. He doesn't see the physical person just sitting there. He can see everything. And so in that moment, I guess that's what he was looking at. And he said, I can see that you've got a lot in you ready to share. You've got a lot of messages. You've got a lot of love to put out there, and you need to get it out there. Because people need what you've got to share. The one key word that I don't remember him saying that my friend went, Rebecca, you're wrong. Or not wrong, but you forgot a kind of a key part. He said the word wisdom. That I had a lot of wisdom inside of me to share. And look at him crying again. That's the moment where he made me cry standing up there, and I didn't realize that. Is that I do have so much to share. And I do want to share it with everyone. And I was afraid of doing so. I'm going to say was afraid of doing so because this video is a huge step. So I'm going to put this video out there. One, to say thank you so much, Lee, for helping me to let go of the next piece that I was ready to let go of around fear of exposure. I would like to say, if you have an opportunity, anyone who watches this, to see Lee in person, get your butt in that room. Because even if you don't get to ask a question and have this crazy experience like I did, you will still have an amazing experience. You will still gain some deep insight. You will still walk away feeling like something's different in a really awesome way. And obviously, lastly, I'd like to say thank you to Lee, if I haven't already, because that was huge. And I feel like now that I've let go of that fear of exposure, energy that amazing things will happen. And I'm now ready for them to happen. I'm still a little scared shitless, as you mentioned that you were on some of the steps of your journey, Lee. Each step is like that. And I know Archangel Michael has been holding my hand at each step where he pushes me outside my comfort zone. I'm really, really fearful at first, but I know it's the right decision. And then beautiful things happen afterwards and wonderful connections. The last thing I wanted to mention, especially to those of you who are light workers or empaths, and whether you're new on this journey of awakening or you've been doing it for years and years, probably longer than I have, is that I've gone to a lot of these events for myself. I've gone to ones that I love and I want to get stuff out of. And at the same time, in the back of my head, I've had this thought, and I can do a little bit of networking and I might meet people that are interested in my work and that kind of thing. Last night, I didn't have that thought. Last night, all I could think about was how cool it was going to be to see Lee in person for the first time and to hear him and to learn from him in the Z's. And connecting with anyone else was the farthest thing from my mind. I went with a friend of mine. I was happy to go with her, watch him, listen to him, go home and reflect and have an awesome night. And that fear of being seen and standing up there in that exposure, after the event, I had people coming up to me asking me for my card and talking to me about what I do and asking what those messages or the wisdom within me was that I felt inclined to share. And that was really cool for me because I realized I did not go with the intention to network. I did not go with the intention to get a single client. And I walked away with people asking for healings that didn't even know I did healings when I walked in the door, and others that are going to join our amazing Year of Healing meditation course. And that was really cool for me. And talking to them afterwards, and even if none of these people who said they were going to join the course or said they were going to book a healing, even if none of them do, that moment in speaking to them was pure intuitive conversations. They were connections that were meant to happen. People were asking questions, and the answer had already been revealed to me in that Year of Healing course. And it's quite funny because for those of you watching this that are in the course, you know that it goes by week. So each week we get a channeled meditation from archangels, ascended masters, the collective, whoever wishes to step forward. We get the healing vibrations, which has changed everything for us in releasing stuff that we're ready to let go of. We get a mantra to focus on for the week, along with a gorgeous picture. And then we get the channeled written message from the guide. And in my head, each week, based on each mantra and each message that comes forward, it's based on the week. So when talking to my group, we can go, oh yeah, go back to week 5. That's where we talked about that issue. And here I am talking to these people who have no knowledge of my course at all. And I'm like, oh, the angels talked about that in week 11. Now, week 11 says, and I was able to give them their answer. And it was this divine, beautiful, amazing connection that I had the knowledge within me from remembering these channeled messages that these people needed to hear in that moment to help them on their journey. And that alone was just such a beautiful gift. And I walked away going, it feels different. It feels different now. I've always wanted to share the work that I do and thought that it was life-changing. Why don't more people sign up? And why aren't there more people in my environment? And where are all the people that are supposed to get this message? Because they're so beautiful and insightful and life-changing. And Lee gave me my answer. It's because I was afraid of being seen. Not that I was afraid to share the message, because the message comes from the divine. It's what people are meant to hear. And if people are meant to hear them, they'll hear it. But I was blocking it. My fears were blocking it. My fear of what other people might think of me blocked it. So if you have a fear of being seen, of what other people think of you, of putting it out there and getting that negative comment on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, do it anyway. Just jump and do it anyway, because people need to hear what we have to share. And It's a beautiful, loving energy on our planet right now, and we are so supported by such an amazing group of angels and gods that they have our back and they want to help us. So ask them to release your fears and reveal the next step to you, or take you to the next event where you need to release something in front of 200 people staring at you while you cry in front of strangers and be exposed and get your message out there, because we all have something to share and we all have value. And I'd like to hear what you have to say too. So let me know what you think. And feel free to share this video if it resonated with you. And if you want to share the work you do below, that's great too, because we're all in this together. And if this video inspired you to put yourself out there, then you got to start somewhere. So share it with me, and I'd like to hear it. So once again, thank you to Lee and your team. Thank you to your friend that brought you to Australia. I owe you one. It's awesome. I look forward to meeting up with you all in future as we are meant to meet up. So if you want to know more about me, as always, go to RebeccaLFrench.com, and I will see you there. Much love and angel blessings. Mwah.